180,000 emails.
That was great.
That's
Do
your
you
setup
have
foot?
180,000?
I do.
Is that a gaming setup?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's two
the
computers.
ultimate
Oh, I
gaming
have to look at your gaming setup.
experience.
It's
Like
mine
a
and the
compu
wife's.
like a computer hacker.
The ultimate gaming setup. We popped out and we back.
Feels kind of weird.
It
We haven't done
does.
this in like a month.
I know.
I think it's been a little longer than that.
Has it?
I think so.
Well, it still feels kind of weird.
But it's been good. It's been a good
I'm
good little
nervous, like it's my first time.
oh, I got the I'm trembling. I'm trembling. What up, Skidoo? Yeah, welcome everybody. We're back. What up, Compo? We took a sabbatical, a hiatus. We all are refreshed and ready to take the seats again. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to talk about. Let it rip. Comments you guys want to talk about a problem with your truck. Um, bring it. We have been working on some new content. Filmed a couple of videos last few weeks that I think you guys are gonna like. A couple of fun ones, a couple of serious diag and repair nonsense going on. Yes, CP has been working on a lot of 3.0s. In fact, one of those 3.0s made its way up to the D, as well as one of the vehicles I just worked on at Ray's, probably I think it was back in August. And they came out to the shop and I'm looking at his wife and I'm like, man, she looks really familiar. I'm like, have I worked on your guys' truck? And they're like, yeah, you did a DCR in a Ray shop. I'm like, oh, well, welcome here. Hello. And had us do a 60-gallon fuel tank. So that was pretty cool to have them come from up there to from down there to up here. That was what's up.
Hey, Aaron, you see Skidoo's 24 FE?
Yeah. Yeah, he
I've
was
been talking
saying
with him through email with
about a
that.
reprogram.
Yeah, but they're saying, oh, the dealer can't do it because there's no code. So I
Hmm.
was looking in the vehicle connected data. There's nothing there except for today. It popped up a triangle, but now it's all grayed out, like somebody deleted it. But they're
Hmm.
telling him they can't see anything in history codes.
What was grayed out on the calendar?
Yep, the triangle was grayed out on the calendar.
Huh. Hmm.
But it's also, they're telling him, because I went through this 24 FE before, it's the knock sensor 1.1, and then you reprogram the PCM.
I mean, it's literally the same code as 207F and
Yep,
20E.
but they're telling him, oh, there's no code. We can't do the TSB.
But I don't know. I think somebody doesn't want to think outside the box.
Exactly.
I mean, can't they just?
Well, it's just like that quote I sent you yesterday, Aaron. That dealer didn't want to do warranty stuff,
Oh yeah.
so they nailed him for a 45-hour fuel system.
Ooh. Yeah, I've been down that road.
Yeah, I sent him your video actually.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you.
I
How to
said
get
you
out
need
of
to
it?
go. I said you need to go watch this video and do this.
It worked.
I know I had encountered several of those type situations when I was at the institution, and sometimes we had to circumvent doing the normal TSB fixes. And even though we didn't get the code, vehicle still showing the same symptoms. I'm gonna take the customer's word for it that we had this code, obviously, because he's not just gonna make this shit up. But it is definitely
I mean,
weird.
you technically could use connected vehicle data if it's in there.
Yeah, but I wonder why it wouldn't have set a DTC on the calendar.
We'll see. It happened to him on September the 11th. And then I went back to look at the 60-day. There's nothing there except for today. And it's showing a grayed out triangle, like a DTC was there, but now it's like somebody just completely cleared it out. And when you hold the mouse over it, it says 0 DTC, 0 VHA.
What's the
And I'm
VIN?
like, huh?
What's the VIN?
I'll send it to you in chat.
Yeah, send it to me.
Because I tried to look at
Hmm.
it. Chat.
But I don't think that knock sensor is gonna make that contribute to white film on his tailpipe.
It does because it's overdosing on def. That's exactly what was happening to my truck.
Because of the Knox 1.1.
Uh-huh.
Was yours a cab chassis?
Yes.
What
I'm
up,
not
BC
saying
Electric?
I'm not saying that's why his is overdosing on def, but that's what my problem was, and that's what fixed the problem.
Was a 1.1.
Yeah, it was the 1-1.
1.1 sensor and module.
Yes. I mean, it's one whole assembly, but you
Hmm.
know that. But did you get it, Cody?
Yeah, that's weird.
You see it?
Yeah, but it also says to only be used to prepare for and perform vehicle service and repair
Uh-huh.
requested by customer. So it's like he's not giving full permission to.
I've never seen them grayed out like that. Have you?
I have not. Self-test is clear.
Because it'll go back, what, 60 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 days. So replacing that Knox 1.1 and reprogramming the PCM actually cleared up the def issue that it was having.
Change
I'm
knock
99 point,
sensor.
huh?
I'm reading what he put. He's put a change knock sensor and reprogram PCM and TCM.
Uh-huh. I'm 99.9% sure that's what's going on with this truck.
Oh, it sucks to not being able to. Apparently, they said they've done a bunch. I sure hope so. Hello. Yeah, I guess I guess Skidoo, you're gonna have to I don't know, find a dealer that's gonna try to work with you. Explain that you've got this code before and it ain't here anymore.
And
But you're
see,
having the same type situation.
they're saying that they can't see the DTCs and FDRS when it should be under historical. They should be yellow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go into the PCM and look at historical that way, or go to mode 6, or what was the other one, Cody? Mode 4 or 7 or whatever it is.
Most 6 is just data.
Yeah, but you should be able to see when it triggered. I don't know if it was mode 6, because like when you go to PCM on FDRS and then you scroll down, you got like mode 6, and I think it's mode 4, mode 7, or something like that. But you should be able to see the historical DTCs in yellow.
Mode 6 ain't got anything on here either, so. Someone was looking at his connected vehicle data at 8 o'clock.
That's probably me. That was probably me. Was it M10 to 2?
Yep.
Yeah, that was me logged in under my buddy's name.
Yeah, I know that guy. Thanks, Max Paul. A-Rod, 6'4" guy here has a knock, and it has new lifters.
They only
Nope.
did they only did a self test for all
Hmm.
CMDTCs. They didn't run a PCM self test either.
Nope.
That's their own fault.
Well,
Whoever
he got a call from them or whatever, and they said, "Oh, there's more pinpoint tests that he has to run." Like he
For
hasn't
what?
even done a pinpoint test. It's like all he
he
did
hasn't
was
done shit.
he hasn't done anything.
Bullshit, I can see they're not working.
Love it.
How many hours does it typically take? It depends on who's doing it. And if it's their first one, I don't, it all half a day, maybe? Dealer wanted to charge my father over $5,000 for a 14 Explorer water pump. Found a mom and pop shop that did everything for 3,500. Yeah, well, they probably didn't do phasers and chains and all that. Probably just did the water pump. That winds up being one of those, well, while you're in here, it's like you're not just going to take the front cover off these Tauruses and Explorers with the 3.5 EcoBoosts and do just a water
Oh,
pump. Like,
hell no.
Cody, why
You
would you
do
do that?
you do
You're gonna do
chains and
chains,
everything.
Why would you do
guides,
that?
everything.
Come on. Come on. Robert Melton, he just retracted his message and I was just going to read it. Well, now I can't read it. Hello, y'all. Which is better regen, Ford's way or Edge manual regen? It's just going to be dependent on how you work that truck, man. We talked about these trucks
Excuse me.
love heat. They want heat. Bearded Vortex got fleets of ambulancias, and all they want is heat. That's how we burn the particulate matter from the DPF. So if you drive on the freeway, you can leave it automatically in the instrument cluster, and it will clean it by itself. Or you turn that at OCR function and wait till it gets to 100% and clean it yourself.
You mean
But I
we're
think
doing regens?
we're doing regens and cleaning filters.
I mean, we have to do regens? What's that?
Why are my AGMs at 55% health? I don't know. Batteries are fairly new. I got a draw or something. Well, if you had a draw, I think the batteries would go dead, right?
Yep.
I remember doing the thermostat on my 7.3. Gravy.
Just because he bought the batteries new doesn't mean they were new on the shelf.
I mean,
They
that
could have
is
been sitting there
true.
for a while.
That is true. They did everything. Oil, coolant, injector valve cover gasket. Hmm. Oh, Sarah Canadian, that's for the bearded Vortex. That's his gravy train right there. Oh, mama. Eat those things for breakfast.
What, transmissions?
And shit them out 10R 140s.
That's the next thing on my list is 10R 140s. So I can
Oof.
service the engine and the trans and get all the money.
Oof. My exhaust filter. I'm sorry, no, we don't know any good techs in Connecticut. My exhaust filter percentage on the dash hits 70 now in the truck regens. Is it possible to reset this? No. Unfortunately, when it's on auto, there's not much you're going to do about that. It's going to regen when it needs to. What up, Ghost Sniper? Uh-oh. Kurt P. Uh-oh. A-Rod, House Tings, bit of a story. 21. Yep. Leaky bats. Yep. Tell me about it. Replaced with Bagums. Seems all good now. Thank you for your vid. Scott at Parts says, part number not listed. Bagum 65A. I think Bagum 65 was like the first number that came out when those
Yep.
were first trickling out. I think Bagum 65As are the newest number that are for
The Bagum 65s were for F-150. The 65As were for Super Duty.
Okay. Same size. What up, JH? Yeah, I've heard about this AC compressor issue. If you have this issue on your 23, 24 Super Duty, I need you guys to come to Detroit because I have a fix for your AC compressor. I mean, I have an AC compressor that's going to fix your truck, but we need to check a couple things before we do so, and we might have you fixed up. But I need you to come to the D. I'm
What
sorry.
are you doing to fix it
Put a new AC compressor on it.
besides that?
Putting a new AC compressor on it.
How many do you have?
That's not the question.
Yes, it is. How many do you have? Because I have
It's
3.
it's how many do you need?
I have 3. As soon as those bad boys came off back order, I was like, give me 3 of them.
I need as many as I can.
I need a DCR pump from you.
Oh, those ones are already spoken for. Them people already sent them because they bought them. Like I don't have them in stock.
Oh,
Hey, A-Rod, when it comes next time you're headed down to Florida, I'm sending a buddy of mine to install an S&B tank to either you or Ray on a 24. Okay, okay. Give him my shop line. We'll get him taken care of. Eddie Campos, why the injectors go bad when under load? It happens every time when passing a car or emerging on the freeway. It's happened 4 times, 2 different trucks. That's kind of strange. Hmm. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if that's. I don't know.
it's the ejector balance. Or
I don't know. That's quite
contribution.
weird.
Not enough information.
Need to see the contribution.
Hmm. Can Forescan get volts to display on IP? No. Does my Super Duty really not have voltage gauge?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know if it does or not. I don't think so. In the maintenance monitor, does it have a battery? I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
That's why that Banks iDash is the way to go. So many of you guys want to know when your truck is in regen. Guess what? There's an actual little PID right on that little iDash right there, right there. And it says regen active. So you actually know that it's on and you're not fiddle fuzzing around trying to figure that out. Any thoughts? 17 Duty's got 8%
Is he in
fuel
Canada?
now. Who?
The guy that talked about fuel.
I don't know. Ask him.
Because I answered a question about that at work.
Oh, we'll ask him.
Ford doesn't
Uh,
support Ford doesn't support or oil analysis, so you know
why?
your driving need to know your driving characteristics.
Warm. Sounds like you got a bad lifter, bro. Unfortunately. Crocked flyer, that's not. I bet you have a collapsed lifter and it's pumping up and being all right when it's cold, but as soon as that boy starts heating up and thinning out, there goes your lifter. That's not good. That's not good. Zay's Auto Clinic Tire. Thank you. Well, Aiden see, well, every engine's got a different degree of blow by. If you have an engine that's got 200,000 miles on it and checked an engine that's got 5,000 miles on it, you're going to have a different degree of wornness, if you want to call that a word, compared to the other one. So I think you're going to have to find out what is too much. You have a wore out engine, you're going to have a lot of freaking blow by. So, you can't not have blow by because that's just not how engines work. We have this crankcase that holds all this vapor and all the stuff that goes past our compression rings and our oil rings. And that's just the normal characteristic of a running engine when you have it sealed. And we have to decide whether or not what is too much. So as long as it's not blowing the cap off, then I don't think you have anything to worry about. Because I've seen them come in. You got to twist that cap off. Keyword twist. I come in seeing them blown off. I don't know how they're blowing off. So if yours not blowing off, I think you're good. And new out of the box, yeah. I've seen it one time, but it was a 6.0. My coworker was working on it. FQR for quality reman. Or not.
I mean, talking about this oil dilution, that's either going to come from regens, idling, sticking injectors, but if it's not running rough, it's not sticking. So I think it's going to be a driving habit, honestly.
That very well could be. Knock didn't change after the new lifters. Did you do anything to the short block or just put lifters and redo the heads? Yeah. BFT, what do you feel about having oil in your vehicle and you don't put that many miles on it a year? Should you change it out every year? You change it out every 6 months? Do you change it at your next oil change interval? Like what would you
I
do?
would change it out and then send it off to test to see if it's still good.
Now, if
Is
you're
what I
putting a
would do.
vehicle away, do you change the oil before you let it sit? Or do
Yes,
you change the oil before you're gonna take it out for the
you
season?
change it before you let it sit, and then you fill up the fuel tank completely full, and you put a fuel stabilizer in it. Lake Speed actually did a video on that.
I can dig that. I can dig that.
And technically, you're supposed to put like a tablespoon of oil down the spark plug holes.
Oh,
But-
really?
Mhm.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
I know.
just get some engine fogger. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I put that in a 6.7.
why not?
I
It's
don't
just
know.
oil.
I mean, I guess, yeah, that's pretty much all it is. Does anybody know why Ford dealerships are refusing to complete the 2026-7 transmission gear set recall? Beats me, brother.
Are they waiting on parts? Is there a hold on the recall? Well, I don't even know what the number is. This is the
22
first.
S22?
This is the first I've heard of it.
What is old 22 S22? Thank you, Ford Asset Tech. Owner. What up, Dave? What up, Elaine? I wonder if my man's trying to go through regens and it's not completing.
That's what I even, well, if this is the guy that I think it is, I said that right in my statement in my contact.
What's the
There's
chances that that's the
stacking.
same dude?
Send me a VIN number, I'll tell you. Vehicle history.
Yeah,
What
we've
is he
done a
do-
lot of those fuel pumps. Tired Mastro.
Stacking regens is a great way to fill up your
Mhm.
oil.
I think every vehicle that we've worked on so far, we're coming in, the two big ones we're doing with Forescan is turn on OCR that DPF percentage in the maintenance monitor and getting rid of that bloody double honk when leaving cabin. I think those are the two big top ones that people have us change. And
I
having that info.
I turn on the regen one on every single F-150 I touch.
Hmm. I did not see that Ford asset. Oh, you're one. Oh, really?
170, isn't that a field trim?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hardest code to diagnose because it could literally be anything.
Well, they had a reprogram for that, and that was just for the PCM, but I don't know. Dang, all eight injectors. Well, were you getting that P24A2 or what was that one of this all eight injectors? It was like uh
Regen too cold or something.
yeah, not in a closed loop or something.
It's for 15-16s. Yeah.
Too cold for closed loop regeneration control, I think is what it said.
Yeah. That one's all 8 injectors. Do it every time.
I saw your video on the Ventec heat generator, and I'm curious. It appears that it doesn't come on if the ambient temp is over 50 degrees. Is that overridden by low coolant temp? I would have to double check on that. Because it's going to be getting heat from the engine running, but I don't think it's going to help the engine if ambient temp is over 50 degrees. I have 6.7. Great. With some metal in the oil. Not great. How likely can I rebuild the engine and not get a reman? It looks to be bearing in there. I'm hoping it can just dismantle and do um um like a lot of metal, just a piece of metal. Is this thing running bad? Or you like were changing the oil pan and saw a piece of metal in that? Like what are we working with? Short block, but I did check for rod bearings and they're all good. Oof. Oh. Um, I did a video. Yeah, that lot of fuel pump problems. But I did not think you would have done that with all eight injectors, though. I'll have to remember that P0170 fuel trim. Yeah,
What's
dealership
that code
replacement
where
pump.
it's fuel trim? Was it fuel trim idle limits exceeded too high? Something like not learned too high, something like
P054F.
yeah, I had one of those. You know what fixed it?
What?
Fuel rail.
The driver side rail?
Hmm.
Oh, really?
It was a bias sensor.
Hmm. What up, David? Wow. Yeah, when we go through Diag and stuff, Ray, BFT, CP, when we have the computer hooked up, we all know us five, we get when we hook up to the computer, to the vehicle, it's not telling us what's wrong with the truck. Like it's not just saying, guess what? The spark plug's bad in number 5. Like we have to I can't articulate into words what goes through our heads as we see the code, as we're listening to the engine run, as we are smelling, feeling, and dissecting the DTC with our oculars. What's the first thing you think of? Oh, I remember this from 5 years ago. I had a critter damage here. This exact same code. Like you go through this memory jog of everything that you've seen in the last 10 year or whatever, 6, 7 history. And I think people who do not understand how these automobiles function is may not appreciate what we have to do to get to that root cause. Because it's like,
I mean,
bro, when you got this, when you
it's
got
not
the,
even
go
that.
ahead.
I mean, we've got to know what every single one of those numbers and the live data mean, and what's good and bad.
Or you're looking at the workshop, man. You're going through why this blower motor doesn't work, and you go through it, and you've turned the blower motor on, and it says repair the open circuit. Well, I know the blower motor works because I just gave it power down its own wires. Don't tell me the circuit's open. It's
So
like,
you were the input instead of the
Hey.
module being the input.
Remember when we were riding around in that flex monitoring that torque converter shutter?
oh yeah, yeah.
So uh, a couple days prior to that, so he brought that in for a shutter or a misfire, things shaky, said it's his wife's car and he never drives it. And, by the time he figured out what was going on, it has all these problems. And one of the first things he said is, I went on Amazon and I ordered some coils and some spark plugs, and they looked like they were legit, but he paid $75 for all 6 coils, and then he paid like $14 for all 6 spark plugs. So he paid less than $100 for a retail list of parts that were about $600, something like that. I mean, I don't recall specifically what each coil was, but I think it was like $50 or $60 a piece. So I mean, so he bought the whole set for less than what one of them was. Anyway, the story goes is Aaron and I were riding around in this car monitoring torque converter shutter because the vehicle has a shake to it. Now, when we got a hold of the truck to begin with, it had misfires under load because he put in cheap Amazon knockoff, fake, who knows where they came from, ignition components. So he created a problem trying to fix what his problem was. And so when I called him back after we identified it had torque converter shutter after I fixed these misfires, the first thing he says is, well, when you did the ignition components, the plugs and coils, he says, did you even hook your computer up to it to find out what was wrong? Now, this is after I give him a 15-minute speech on here's what I did and here's what I found and here's what I think and here's what we know and here's what we don't know. And then after it's all said and done, he's like, did you even hook your computer up to it? And I could tell right in that moment, the man thought that we just plug in our scanner or our laptop and it goes, oh, replace this and this and this. Kind of like when you go for a diagnostic at AutoZone, they plug in their scanner and it pulls the code. And then it goes through the most likely list of things that code can be.
Oh,
and then
it
they
must
sell
be
you
the
that part.
mass airflow sensor, right?
Yeah. And then they sell you
Right.
that. And here you go. Good luck.
Right.
It's
That's
try-
their
and
job
then
to
try
sell
again.
parts. Like,
But people think, I believe the general public believes that the computer just tells us what parts to change. And our skill level is based on how well we change the parts. Like I think that's the gist of it from the average individual. Now there's like millions of them out there, but I think that's how they look at us.
I got one for you. Today, they put in a report, it idles and cuts off. You start it, it idles and cuts off. You start it, it idles and cuts off. So I go get in it, I start it. It's idling like crap. It never cut off though, but it's bogging down. So I'm throttling it and it'll go up and then it'll start like chugging and spit and sputtering. So what would you think would be the first thing? There's no check engine light, by the way. What do you think would be the cause of that? It's just bogged down, spitting and sputtering. Just off the top of your head.
Fuel?
Yeah, no fuel, lack of fuel.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe I got a clogged up fuel filter. Okay. So I get it over to the shop, pull across the parking lot, get over to the shop, and it's wanting to die. It never did, but it wants to die. So I popped the hood. I was like, I'm going to unplug the map sensor so I can keep this thing at idle. Unplug the map sensor, and I happened to look down to my right, and I was like, there's my problem. I wish they were all this easy. The cold side charge air pipe came apart.
Ooh.
That's what it was. I
Mhm.
connected it back together, tightened everything back down, unplugged the sensor back in, smooth as butter.
Too long, that boy will fill that DPF up right fast.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
But the whole time I'm thinking, okay, fuel. fuel. It's got to be like I got a clogged up fuel filter. What am I doing here? And I can get it to like 2000 RPMs and it'll run fine, and then it just falls on its face. But I just happened to look over to my right and see the pipe was just like the clamp had come off. Like it just on those, on those, you got like the rubber hose to the plastic hose on the cold side pipe,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a clamp on it. It just came out like the clamp wasn't tight. So that was my problem. Fixed it,
Ford
and it's running fine.
Ford Asset Tech has got a really good question.
Okay.
If you guys get a customer pay ticket, okay, so a vehicle for you guys we watching a CP is customer pay. You have no warranty. You guys are bringing in your 2021 F350 Tremor. You paid $85,000 for this bad lad, King Ranch, all the bells and whistles, and you have a check engine light. We pull code 207F and 20EE FML. All right. You're doing your prelim checks for the obvious. We always know what that is. Go ahead and get more time from the customer, or do you just try and sell Knox 1.1 and 1.2? Right off the rip, Ford Asset Tech has a great question. What do you do?
I
Usually when
could
you bring
say,
your well, usually
I could,
bring your truck in, you okay an hour checkout. What does that mean for the customer? You're just paying an hour's worth of diag. Gonna take you an hour to figure out your truck. What do you do in an instance where you get this huge flow chart to go through, and you know damn well it's gonna take more than an hour?
well, I'm
I
following the
will.
video. I'm not even looking at the pinpoint test. I'm going to the video, checking Knox 1, Knox 2, DEF quality, running the injector test.
Injector test. What do you mean injector test?
The DEF injector test.
Def injector.
And I'm gonna do it 10
Hot and
times
cold.
hot, and I'm gonna do 10 times cold.
But see
Each
that
time
right
trying to
there.
measure the milliliters, right?
And then you want to look at the spray pattern as well.
But that's going to take you more than an hour. So do you stop at an hour and say, hey, look, I need more time to finish this?
Well, I can tell you down here, you're not gonna shotgun 2 Knox sensors because DEF
Mhm.
goes bad in the summertime in 3 months.
Still not doing that in an hour CP. Absolutely not.
No.
But
So
I'm
do you
just saying,
stop?
like, if you're shotgunning Knox sensors, it's not gonna help. You're just gonna shotgun Knox sensors,
Well, he
especially
also
if, like, in the southern states, your DEF can go bad in 3 months. So
Right. But do you stop at that hour? Because you know it's going to take longer than an hour. Do you stop at that hour and then go to your advisor and say, hey, look, I need another hour. Can you get that approved by the customer so I can finish my diagnostic?
I'm gonna go through the diag. I'm not gonna shotgun Knox sensors in the south.
he
So you're
made
gonna
another good point. He records his Knox catalytic efficiency in the very beginning. So he's got this
That's what
baseline.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, hold on. But didn't we just hook up our scan tool and it told us what to replace?
I mean,
no.
there's only a few things that it could be. I mean, we could SCR, Knox sensors, DEF, or the injector.
Okay, so that's
The
five.
correct
Or
answer
driving
is
habits.
the correct answer is you conduct all the tests possible within your hour. That way you can tell the advisor what it's not. And then you can say, hey, advisor, I'm not going to sell some Knox sensors for $1,800 in this truck because I'd rather do this. So let's find out some stuff. And then you tell them to go and get more diag time because that's what it's going to cost to not throw parts at it.
Or do you have a diesel baseline at the dealer? Any diesel that rocks through the shop that's got a check engine lights, 2 hours checkout. You got a heavy driveline repair. You got some rough running oil leak diagnostic, whatever. It's 2 hour checkout.
That's fair too.
Why are we having an hour checkout for gasoline vehicles when we have 7 more systems on these diesels when they come in for emissions and reductant problems.
Because the computer tells us which one to change. That's why, Aaron. Come on.
Oh, that's right. Oh, gosh, golly, man. Uh, the joys of being an automobile technician. No, mechanic. We're
Parts
just
cannon.
those. We're those parts cannon shooter guys because we're throwing parts at something
I
we
mean,
don't know how to work
Well,
on.
the real secret is all of us actually already know what's wrong with the car, but we just make people give us a bunch of money to tell them what it is.
I mean, yeah.
the good thing is you can roll out customer driving habits almost immediately. Like when you're doing the first test
Mhm.
drive, if your NOx, if your NCCE is going up, then it's customer driving habits. If it stays the same, then it's not. So
But let me tell you guys right now, before it goes down to 99, all 100 of you, if somebody real close to you tells you to check for intake restrictions, just don't look at the air filter.
it's
Yeah,
intake. It's the
Look
whole
at
the whole
intake.
thing.
man. Little did I know that was going to be a learning experience that I could share with you all so that you would not make that same mistake that I made. But the root problem was solved. The customer's back on the road. Truck was able to make some money. And I experienced something I'll never forget.
Was it
Yeah.
the ports on the lower
Oh,
intake?
yeah.
I
Oh,
had that one
yeah.
bite me in the ass too.
Oh yeah, man, is no freaking joke. It came back and it came back and it came back the very next day with the same GD problem.
But you can't
I'm
see it just
man.
by looking at it.
You
Oh.
know what happened was it said a 401 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the dead giveaway.
Just when you think you got these things rattled and figured out, you know what? You get this little chump tell me this world hasn't gone to push button mechanics. Man, had old timer telling me the same thing. He said, you know what? This world's gone to push button. Next thing you know, we're going to be clubbing each other for water. We're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close.
If I remember
Warning.
right, if I remember right, I think that was the first thing I asked you. Did you check the intake?
So, One Way Garage says he had a 20 EE and ppm ppm ppm. I remember Cody telling me ppm. We have the Knox 1 sensor and the Knox 1.2 sensor. Both are reading particulates parts per million. We want to find out if the cat's working. If we had a Knox 1.1 that was reading 200 and a Knox 1.2 that's reading 200, would you say that you think
It's not reducing.
the cat is doing its stuff? Hell no. So a good cat, now we can't look at those ppm sensors when we're taking off from a light. We need to be steady cruised for at least 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I'll just say a minute. So you can get that that exhaust stream going through the DPF, going through the catalyst, and get a good reading with steady throttle input and see if your rear ppm is close to 10, close to 10 parts per million. Um, um, that is the same PIDs or data that we're reading when we're looking at the NCCE. The mode 6 data allows us to look at another range of the PCM's conversion of NOx through the cat. And as Cody was saying, if that number, we have a high, we have a low and a high, and we're supposed to be in the middle. And if we get too far out of that window, then we set these 20 EE codes. And I feel like as these 20s, well, not even 20s, but 17s, 18s, 19s, after we had those 20 EO7s and 22 EO8, whatever the emissions recalls where you're having your trucks brought in and having the PCM updated, these emission systems just wound up being so much more finicky. The tolerances were much tighter, and it would trip a code for freaking whatever. And there's really nothing you're gonna do. Can't go back. Software cal. So it was kind of you're stuck with what you got. Um, hello? I don't know if you guys are using crappy def, but one of the big things, well, one of the second things that we check is the NOx 1.1, NOx 1.2, DEF concentration. What's that magic number, BFT?
62% urea, 38% water.
What's the PCM want to see?
I don't remember. Not offhand.
Wants to be 33%, 32%.
Wait. 32% what?
DF concentration, like when it's looking at the reductant quality module, you can pull up that.
Oh, yeah.
That
I thought you were talking
ammonia.
about the mixture at def. Yeah.
Oh,
32%.
yeah, that's really important. You have a refractometer?
Me?
Yeah. Can you measure the depth with that?
Does the Pope shit in the woods? I mean, of course I have a fractometer.
I mean,
Does the
does he
Pope go in the woods?
I know. Does he? Do you think that bubble cart allows him like off-road capabilities?
I mean, put it in 4x4. You're good.
Do you think he wears Crocs?
I wore Ray's Crocs because he tried to get me to buy a pair, and I said no. I
Really
refused.
comfortable.
No, that you weren't wearing them, or no, you weren't going to buy them?
No, he made me wear them. He made me put both of them on and walk around the garage just to
He
see. And I was like,
made
no,
me-
I'm still not buying them.
I'm gonna buy you
Maybe.
some. I'm just gonna get you some Crocs.
For Christmas, we're all just going to buy each other like pairs of Crocs.
Oh,
But they're
doing
not
that.
just going to be plain colored Crocs. They're just going to be joke Crocs. So this
Ray,
guy's going to get.
if Ray buys me Crocs, I will wear them just because Ray bought them for me.
It's Cliff's fault because he convinced me. Actually, he convinced Lauren to get me Crocs. So then she bought Crocs,
Oh,
and now
oh.
I have Crocs.
But you didn't expect him to be that comfortable, did you?
Oh no, I had no idea. These things are fantastic.
Does Eric have Crocs?
I do not own Crocs. I don't live in Florida. I don't go
Oh,
to Florida enough for Crocs.
oh.
But
See, I
hello,
don't
guys.
even own any.
If you like Crocs, you spent too much time in jail.
I like Idiocracy.
Oh,
Where they
that's
came
fun.
from.
Cody,
I
did you
have
get the
not
safety
spent.
Croc
I have
video
not
I sent
spent
you?
too much time in jail, and I like Crocs.
Camo Crocs.
See, look, Derek's trying to give me Anthony, Crocs are great. No. Yes,
They
they were
really
comfortable on my feet. Yes, they were. I'll admit that.
Oh,
But
I still can't
I've
feel
held
the
out.
cat.
I've held out for this long, dude. I'm not doing it.
Do you wear flip flops?
I do not. I cannot stand flip-flops. I cannot
Okay.
stand the thing in between my toe.
Yeah, they are far
No.
superior to a flip flop or a sandal.
I do have sandals that I wear to the beach.
I mean, I don't want to wear sandals where I got freaking something in between my toes either.
I don't like flip-flops. I cannot stand that little thing in between my toes.
Y'all
There's
both
certain
need Crocs.
ones that are doable, but you can't just have junk flip flops. You got to have like a good pair,
Slides.
like some good
Like
leather
a
ones.
Slides.
like
Yes.
a pair of reefs.
I got
Yeah,
some.
yeah. I
I
mean,
got
even
some
some
Adidas.
reefs don't do it. Like they got to be good reefs.
Yeah.
I got some Adidas sandals or slides or whatever they are. I had it for about 3 or 4 years. They were brand new in a box when I was working on used cars, and they were in the trunk of a used car.
That's
Brand
the
new
best
in the
way.
box.
I like how
Brand
you.
new in the box.
I like to try. I like to try stuff without paying for it or having to
Exactly.
return it.
I was
Hey,
like,
if it
hey,
ain't free, it
Adidas.
ain't me.
So, do you get Crocs in jail? I've seen a lot of jail comments about
I
Crocs.
thought
Is
you
that
get
what they give you in
slides.
jail?
Isn't that where slides came from?
Yeah, I thought that was like slides.
But are they Crocs?
No,
I think they have Crocs now.
really?
That's
I think so.
bullcrap. There's no
I think they're
reason we
orange.
should. Nah.
There's a good comment in the comments chat. I can't.
What am I late? That one?
Birds.
No, the guy that asked about his DPF.
Oh, I've noticed my DPF percentage takes longer to go up if I use my engine brake. Any truth to this?
Hmm. Can't say it's an issue. I don't know if a coincidence. I
It
use
really
mine all the
depends
time.
on how you drive. They like heat, remember?
Heat.
Heat.
I was just doing a regen on a freaking 3.2 Puma. By golly, I hate those things. And it didn't start going down in percentage until that fucker hit 1,000 degrees. As soon as it hit 1,000 degrees, man, it just
Uh-huh.
You're lucky you even hit 1,000 degrees.
man, if I had to put a def injector in this thing or a fuel vaporizer, this guy was not gonna be happy, bro, because that ain't coming out of that cat. Ain't no way that you came from my loins. Welcome. Welcome. What up, big guy? How you doing? How you doing? How you
Both need
doing?
Crocs. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Eric,
Yeah.
I've got a car, or I got an F-150 coming to me. You might want this engine.
Oh gosh. What is it?
Oh.
Snap the timing belt,
Hmm.
going 75.
Oh.
That bad stuff happens when that happens. Yeah.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. So you mean to tell me we had to have drove this thing at 75 miles an hour and then like somehow wired the injector on and then we could have got a rod hanging out the side of the block? How do these people do this?
Well,
They work so hard at that.
he was supposed to bring it to me in December for a timing belt replacement.
Come on.
That was
He's
almost a year ago.
No, he's supposed to bring it to me this December. Like, he's way over time already. Like, I think he was like at 150,000 miles. And he's like, oh yeah,
Ab
I'll just bring it in December.
Average manual regen. I have them go for 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. No lie. Depends on how full they are. I mean, if
Yeah.
they're packed full, it's gonna
About 45 minutes or so. If it's not too full, it's 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Where's Hopscotch? He already in bed? Yeah. Hopscotch is asleep. What up, Gregor?
We just gotta figure out the logistics from Mississippi to Florida.
Oh, get in the truck there. Let me know if I can help. I can get a shift.
It's DOA.
That's fine. You got to realize I ship cars that were in saltwater now. So
I'll
Yeah.
let him know that if he needs help getting it shipped.
yeah, I'm happy to help. I charge for my services, but it's very nominal. And I'm good at moving cars because I have to do it so often.
Yeah. You want to answer that one?
Charlie, the 6.7 does not have a timing belt. It is gear to gear.
It's got a timing chain, silly.
What? The 6.7?
Yeah,
It's gear.
I know. Just
Oh, now you're messing with me, man. Come on.
like, really?
I was like, wow.
Maybe it's
I was
in
like,
the
wait a
back.
minute.
I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna not calling you out.
Sullivan
So
man.
you can replace that timing belt anytime now on that
Anytime.
6.7.
Yes, date code does matter for death. We had a good video going over how to decipher those date codes, so you guys actually know when it was built or made, not built. And then you can
Built, made,
decide
same thing.
how you're going to store it, because if you have a dry, cool environment, you got up to 3 years of storage. But if you're hot, warm climate, that gets cut down to 6 months.
3 months.
Not 6 months. Yeah, 3 months. Be very careful where you're going to put that. If it's in direct sunlight, if you're keeping it in the back of your truck, real important. So yeah, look up the video we did on the DEF. It's quite interesting and important to know when you're buying it. Are you buying expired def? So, I mean, I think that's about it. We're gonna have some after party. We haven't live streamed in quite a while. We appreciate you guys for coming and hanging with us. Kind of excited to do it. We have some content for you on Friday. I think that's about it. Unless Jeeping with Judd over here has got something he wants to add, or this guy doesn't even know what time it is, other than bagel time and
I have no idea.
whipped Target cream cheese, because that is superior. BFT CP, Rain Man Ray, you look you're like the guy on the statue thinking, I am going to
Stoic.
conquer the world. Oh yeah,
I am.
we are.